Hey guys, MTU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Avengers GamerVerse Wave 2, the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure. Now the Joe Fixit is of course based on the video game. It is a skin in the game, so the Build-A-Figure is actually based on that. So even though it may kind of look gray, that is actually a green skin tone, but what I think Hasbro did is kind of met in the middle between green and gray, so it could kind of work for you comic guys, and it kind of work for those that are collecting video game figures. But either way, I think it's going to be a decent Build-A-Figure. First up is the Atmosphere Iron Man figure, and I think this thing looks incredible. And what I didn't realize is at first I thought it was basically just going to be a repaint of the Wave 1 Iron Man. This is actually a repaint of the Target exclusive Star Boost armor Iron Man. So I don't know if that makes it any better for you guys, but I think that was definitely a better figure than the Wave 1 release because it looked a little bit bulkier, something about it just a little bit better. And then of course they give us a Tony Stark head sculpt now, since it is a second run of this figure, or basically a third. But anyway, packaging is the same from the GamerVerse Wave 1 that we had seen. Same side art panel that we had saw with Wave 1. Here on the back of the package we have a look at the figure itself. All the figures in the Wave 2 build Joe Fixit. The bio reads, Atmosphere Armor Iron Man. Tony Stark developed his cutting-edge atmosphere armor to defend the world against catastrophic threats. Pretty damn generic if you ask me, but that's usually what we get on those bios. Let's open this thing up. Okay, so here is the Atmosphere Armor Iron Man figure out of the package. And what I will say about the figure before we get into all the specifics of everything, the figure looks really, really good. I really love the blue and the gunmetal gray and the silver that we get throughout the figure. I just love the colors and really love how it pops and stands out. And I can tell you this is 100% the same exact sculpt as the Star Boost Iron Man figure, the Target exclusive, as they tumble. So I also have a problem with my leg, which we'll get into when we go over the articulation. But first, let's look at those accessories. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Iron Man figure, but before we really take a look at the rest of the figure, let's first look at the accessories. So he comes with the right arm to the Build-A-Figure, and mine's looking kind of all like dusty, but there's just like residue all over the sleeve of the arm. I don't know what the hell is really going on with that, so it kind of looks like crap. But as you can see, clearly a green skin. Green. So the accessories, he comes with a Tony Stark unhelmeted head, and this looks pretty good, although it looks like a much younger Tony Stark than what I remember him being in the trailers of the game. I actually have the game but haven't had a chance to play it at all yet, so I really don't know. It's just I've been busy with reviews, busy with my new job. I just have not had a chance to sit down and try and play that game. But the face print, the digital face print came out looking really good, so I like that. He comes with one additional pair of interchangeable hands, and those look really good with the blue and that gunmetal gray on the back. Really like that. We get that metallic color. And here, now we look at the figure. Okay, so this really isn't anything new that we've seen. We've seen the same exact figure, but this color scheme is what's new. And I think, for one, it looks really good. So like when you compare it to the Star Boost Armor Iron Man, it just looks really good. I really like the way the Star Boost one looks. I really did not like the regular one, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison, you know, zoomed out so you can get a better look at it. But I really didn't like this Iron Man figure. It's just, looking at it, I just see more and more that I just really don't like it. It's got a super long neck and everything. I hate it. But this one is now probably my favorite, because the Star Boost one I really, really liked. But this one really just sets it apart just because I love the blue. Now, the blue is that marble, has that marble look to it in the plastic, which some people don't like. I like it when there's metallic colors involved, because then it just kind of gives it that metallic look throughout. So you can see some of the marbleization throughout the figure. So if you're one that doesn't like that, then, you know, you're going to have some problems, because it's throughout all the blue in this figure. But for me, I actually kind of like the way it looks. So the thighs, we get that gunmetal gray. There in the shins, we get a nice silver color. Up in the chest, the arc reactor, that's all kind of that same silver color, the same as the faceplate, with a little bit of that gunmetal gray accent right there in the front. The arms get a lot of that gunmetal. silver on the back. The shoulders get a gray plastic, not quite the silver paint, but it's gray, and it's fairly hidden by the shoulder pad, so it's not so bad, but it is a little bit noticeable. Not a whole lot going on the back of the figure. We do get that gunmetal gray stripe back there, which is a little bit odd. But yeah. Now, one thing that is lacking on this figure, though, we don't get the repulsor blast effects, but the hands have the peg holes in there, so you could use. So just kind of like the Star Boost armor figure, it's the same hands with that peg hole. You know, I guess the same hands that actually came with the regular one in Wave 1, just no repulsor blast effects. But I guess the trade-off is the fact that we get the Tony Stark head. So that is pretty cool. Let's pop this head off. So, like so, ball hinge and joint. And we'll put that Tony Stark head on there, and that looks pretty good. When you think Tony Stark, I don't know that you necessarily think this, but I guess it's good representation, right? Black hair, we get a little bit of a goatee, beard going, so that looks pretty good. So let's zoom out for his articulation. Okay, so remember earlier when my figure fell? We'll get to that here as far as the reason why. So, because his head is on that ball joint, so he can look down somewhat. Looking up is a little bit of a challenge because the head, and same with the helmeted head, it's going to hit this little back portion right there at the top of the neck. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So he can look up somewhat, and of course you get full turn and rotation, some pivot going on in there. Shoulder can go up that high, and the reason why is because the chest armor piece and that shoulder piece are going to hit, and you're not going to get anything going on with that. That is all. You get a full rotation, though of course there is an upper bicep swivel there, and you don't swivel it around all the way because that hits that shoulder armor piece. You get a double jointed elbow, which gives you that much bend. The wrists swivel, and then we do get this really nice hinge, so you can use the repulsor blast effects, and you can still hinge the hand, unlike some of the other Iron Man figures where the hand for the repulsor blast effect does not actually have a hinge. These ones do, so that is good. We have a waist swivel in there, an ab crunch that can crunch forward that much. You can go back that much, so that is decent. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that high. Doesn't really go back, maybe a tiny bit. So here's the kicker on mine. So legs swivels at the upper thigh. However, my left leg does not swivel, so I'm gonna have to heat that up and try and do that. I'm trying to turn it and crack it, but I'm scared I'm also gonna break that leg. So that is definitely a problem that I'm having with mine. Yes, it's probably just mine, but some of you guys may have that issue, so just be aware of that and be careful. You have a double jointed knee, which gives you that much bend there. No calf swivel or boot swivel or anything. You have a foot that hinges down a tiny bit, hinges up a little bit. There's ankle pivot in there, and you have this shin guard here, as it gets out of focus, that's a little pliable, so it gives you some wiggle room in there, but not a whole lot. And I always thought these feet were a little too small for this Iron Man suit. So it is what it is. A little bit of pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So decent Iron Man. I really like the way it looks. It's hard to pose mine when I can't turn that leg, so that's unfortunate, but it's just a really good looking figure. And with Tony Stark's head, that is nice, even if he can't stand up straight. Okay, and here are side-by-side comparisons with these Iron Man figures, and you can just see the Wave 1 Iron Man. Ouch, it just doesn't do it for me. I just, seeing them side by side just really hurts me. My least favorite Iron Man figure probably of all time. I know there are some really bad ones out there, so obviously I'm over-exaggerating how much I dislike the figure, but in comparison with these two are so much better than this one. Now, yes, let's talk about it. Hasbro repainted a figure and released it again. Hasbro does this. This is what they do. Now, on the flip side of things, I truly wonder how much of these decisions are made by Hasbro. How much of that is Marvel dictating what needs to be released? Marvel could absolutely be saying, hey, Hasbro, we want you to release another Iron Man video game figure, and you're going to do it. And what's Hasbro going to say? No, of course they're not. They're going to say, yes, Marvel, we will do that. We will come up with a different color scheme and re-release the same exact figure again. That's what they do. I don't even judge them for it because this is known in the toy community, right? How many Boba Fett figures get repainted and re-released into a deluxe version where all it comes with is an extra damn flamethrower and it's $10 more? I could be wrong on that. I don't know the specific details, but that's how I feel. So these kinds of things are going to happen. So I'm not even mad at it, but yes, it does kind of suck because to think what other figure could we have gotten in the wave, be it a video game figure or a classic Avengers figure or whatever the case may be. So yes, it does suck, but par for the course, it's what happens. And you know what? I think it actually came out looking really good. I could easily do without the other two, sure, but I do really like it. So there's that. Okay, so doing some head swaps, I mean, it looks fine. It just seems like it's floating, or just because of the color scheme of the armor, I think. So it looks like his neck is just a little long. It's kind of odd. And then this just looks really bad because super long neck. I don't even know if I realized it at the time of the review, but popping that head off, just look at how high up that damn hinge is on that neck. What the hell was going on with this one? So even the helmet part looks like it's just up there too. I just don't like that figure. Back to this figure, so much better, huge upgrade, and just looks 1,000 times better. Okay, so my final thoughts on the figure. Yes, the Tony head sculpt is a nice touch. Yes, it's just a repaint, so it's definitely going to be an easy pass for a lot of you guys. But if you want to build Joe Fixit, even though it is a video game version and not the classic comic version, a lot of you guys are going to want to do it. Plus, the customizing options are pretty endless. You would have seen like Unparalleled Universe pop the Apocalypse head on there, so you could do all kinds of things to give it kind of a suited big guy look. It's not the exact same as Kingpin, but it's very similar, so they made some changes. So I think it's a decent figure. Iron Man fans, you're going to want to pick it up because it looks awesome. You get another Tony Stark head sculpt. But I know it's truly going to be a very easy pass for a lot of folks. This is double packed along with the Stealth Captain America, the two worst figures in the wave. Obviously, but again, I think a lot of that is dictated by Marvel, but I could be wrong. You guys let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this figure. Are you going to be picking it up? Let me know how the game is, because I feel like I'm really missing out having not played it yet. Let me know all of that down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.